Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Gracie Caps here. I'm a professional makeup artist and I base in Port Harcourt. If you're stopping by for the first time, you're most definitely welcome to join the family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always supporting your girl. So please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. This look is basically how I did foundation and all skin work. That's just what this look is all about, though the eyeshadow is a bit loud, but the skin work, how it matches the skin tone and everything, the undertone, this is just what this look is all about. So please stay tuned, watch till the end. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you love about this look and or your thoughts about this look. Thank you. So the first thing I'm going to do is to clean her face with my wipes and my face cleanser to take off any dirt that is on her face, and if there is product on her face as well, so that the skin can be bare and then to absorb whatever product that I'm going in with. Her face is really dirty. I had to just clean it twice so that everything can really go off. So I'm taking my time to do this because this part is also very necessary. Before you start wearing your makeup, you don't just have to just go in with your primer or your moisturizer. You first of all clean the face very well before you start up with your moisturizer. So that's what I'm actually doing here. So you can see I'm taking my time to do this. I'm not in a rush because I really need to. The next thing I'm going to do is to hydrate her skin with my dewy setting spray so that the skin can be soft and also be open to product that is going to come in. I'm going to use my brush to push it into her skin. You can do this, or you can just use your small hand fan to dry it up. And the next thing I'm doing or I'm applying is my moisturizer, my first moisturizer. So I'm using a small brush to just apply this on her face, and then I'm going to go in with the same big brush that I use in pushing in the setting spray to blend it into her skin. So blend it into her skin generously under the eye and all. Moisturizer is supposed to be applied everywhere on the face. The only part you can avoid is the brows. The next thing is my primer. This is actually a primer stroke moisturizer as well, Embryolisse primer. So I'm going to go back in and use the same big brush that I used to smooch it into the skin as well. To apply this on the face, most times I use my hands as well. If my hand is clean enough, I use my hand to smooch my moisturizer, my primer and all into the skin. But sometimes too I use my brush, so it doesn't mean that if you don't have a brush you cannot use your hand. Just wash your, make sure your hand is very clean. The next product I'm using here is Get a Grip from Blossom Cosmetics. It's actually a face primer, and because of how it grips the skin, I don't apply it underneath the eye. In short, you don't apply primers underneath the eyes. It's only a moisturizer that can go under the eyes. Primer is meant for just on the face, not underneath the eyes, because you're going to still highlight under the eye with concealer, and concealer is dry, so when you do that it spoils your work most times, because underneath the eye is going to be too dry. So I'm going in with my foundation. I've already matched, checked the shade of the foundation, the undertone and her skin tone. So this is a perfect shade of foundation that I'm using. I'm using the same brush to just spread it on the face, and then I'll go back in with my beauty blender to push it into the skin. So before I start blending the foundation, I'm going to hydrate it with my setting spray to help it blend well into the skin. I picked this foundation because it's her perfect shade and I actually mixed two foundation, one from Ezekiel and one from Avor, a darker shade and a lighter shade, to get her exact shade, since I don't have her exact shade in my box. So you can see the way I mixed it. Sorry guys, I couldn't show you guys the process, but I mixed it in a way that it matches her skin tone perfectly, and the undertone as well. So when you are picking your foundation, check the undertone of your foundation as well. So if you watch very well, you can see that I'm taking my time to just blend this foundation into her skin. Like, I'm not going from left to right, jumping around her face. I'm taking my time to blend it from one side to the other side, so that everywhere will be covered and looking the same, looking well blended and seamlessly. It shouldn't be looking like one part is filled with foundation and the other part is less with foundation. Just take your time when you're blending your foundation. It's very, very important. Everything about makeup application is blending, so always remember to blend and blend and blend. Take your time to blend. Check your work very well. Check what you're doing very well, so that everything will come together. Don't forget, blending is the key. Next thing I'm going to do is to highlight her face with my concealer, and I'm just going to use a little amount of concealer because this look, I'm going all natural. Like, I want the skin work to look very natural, so I'm going with a little amount of product on her face. The only thing on this look that is going to be loud is the eyeshadow work, and the lip is going to come up a bit as well, but the skin work is going to be skin work. Okay, so that's why I'm using this little amount of concealer, and also a shade that is not too off her foundation shade. Before I start blending it, I'm going to hydrate the face, so that in case it is dry, it can move. When I start blending it, it can actually sink into the skin easier, instead of me struggling with it. Though the concealer that I'm using is not that dry, but I still like to hydrate it before I before I blend it. I do it most times, but sometimes I still forget to do it. Sometimes I set it after I must have blended it. So either ways, it works for me. I'm also going to take my time to blend it into the skin, push it into the skin. Like, I'm not dragging it, I'm just pushing it into the skin. I don't want it to open the skin or to push the foundation. I just push it into the skin. So if you're blending yours, always remember to push it into the skin. Don't drag it. If you drag it, remember that you've already set the face with the setting spray, and it might open the foundation, because the foundation now is soft, ready to absorb the concealer you're using to highlight. So if you drag it, it might open the skin. So don't drag it. Always remember to push it into the skin when blending it. Don't drag it. Remember, just blend it gently into the skin. Push it into the skin rather. As a makeup artist, I always prefer that my highlighting concealer or my highlight should be at most 2 shades lighter than the person's skin tone that I'm working on. Most times it's always 1 shade lighter than the foundation of the person's skin tone that I used, so that it doesn't go overboard. By the time you start highlighting it, it doesn't go overboard. Sometimes too, when I'm picking my foundation, I pick foundation that it's a little darker than the person's skin tone. A little, when I mean a little darker than the person's skin tone, so that by the time I highlight it and set, it will not be loud. It will just blend into the person's skin tone, not looking way loud. So this is my contour. Like I was explaining, you can see the shade of contour that I'm using. It barely shows on the face, it is actually 1 shade darker than the foundation shade that I used, because I don't want this side of the face, because I'm contouring the face today. The face should be it should be dark. No, some persons go with 3 shades darker than the foundation they used. That is not professional. Seriously, it is not professional. At most, okay, you should be having color on your face, fine, but it should not be looking very dark. You see on their face very dark, on their nose very dark. And most times when I pick contour for my nose, sometimes I pick contour that is less darker than the one I used on the face when I'm applying on the nose, because I really just like the nose not looking too dark. But I use the same color that I used, the shade that I used on the face, on the nose, for this particular look. So the next thing is blush. I'm using a red liquid blush for this look because she's a dark skinned person, so I'm using a red blush for this. So I used the brush to apply most of the product that I used in this video, and I'm going to go back in with my beauty blender to just push it into the skin as well. So everything I'm using is just on the low, like I'm not using too much product or too much of colors on the face. I still want her to look herself after the makeup, looking natural, looking like you wore makeup, but not like it's loud. So after blending the blush on the face, I'm going to just top the highlighting a little because it was not really showing that much, so I'm just going to increase it a little and then blend it out as well before I will go in to set it with my powder, and then I will bake it a little with my setting powder. So I'm just going to take my time to blend. So if you are liking this video, please drop hit the like button, please also subscribe to my channel, and you can drop a comment in the comment section for me. Let me know what you love about this video, and if there's anything you would like me to upload when it comes to makeup, just let me know. I will work on it and I will drop it for you guys. Thank you. So please watch till the end, don't half it please, so that others can as well see it. Support your girl. Thank you. For contour, I am using the same shade that I use in contouring her face to contour her nose. So I start from underneath the brows and connect it to the bridge of the nose. After blending the contour with my brush, I'm going to go back in with my beauty blender and just blend everything together so that there will not be harsh line between where my contour stops and where my highlight starts. Just blend everything together so that everything will move into each other and you will not see the demarcations of all the product on the face. Then I'm going to set it with my powder first before I bake it a little with my setting powder. So I'm setting all the parts that I highlighted with my powder from my powder palette. So when you're doing this part, or as I'm doing this part, I'm just pressing it into the skin as well. I just want to absorb the wetness of the highlighted areas. I'm not dragging it, I'm pressing it into the skin. Please guys, ignore the noise at the background. I'm trying to just do this voiceover because a lot has been happening this period with me, so I really need to just do this, because after that I might not really have the time. So the place is still a bit noisy, children crying, cars passing and all the rest. So please just ignore the voice or the noise in the background, please. After setting the under eye, I'm going to just go in and powder the rest of the face with my powder. That's what I'm going to go in with. I'm going to powder the rest of the face everywhere, both the contoured and the blush area, everywhere, so that it will absorb the wetness as well, and then so that there will not be demarcation on the face as well, the brow part, everywhere that I know that I applied my foundation and everything. I'm going to powder it. I'm still going to get on top of the highlighted area that I just set with my powder as well, so that everything will merge into each other very well. After powdering the face, I'm increasing my contour on the face and also on the hairline, because the powder takes off the contour as well. It was less visible, so I just wanted to come up a little, and I went in with my powder contour. And I'm going to also do the same thing with the blush. I'm going to increase it with my powder blush as well, so that everything will be visible. Yeah, so I'm just taking my time to blend this. Next thing is to bake my highlighted areas with my setting powder, and I'm not using too much. I don't like it too loud, so I'm just going to go in with a little powder, so that it will lift the highlighted area a little bit and make it visible as well.
Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't
Next thing is my brows. So you can see how my brows is. What I'm doing now is I'm using my classic lash glue to brush the hair and put them in place the way I want it to be. It helps in keeping the hairs intact, the brow hairs intact when you want to draw it. So I always like to use this to just tack it to the skin before I draw it. So you can do the same thing when you want to draw your brows, especially when you want your brows to look natural and the person has less brows. You can do this. You will love it. You will really love it. Yeah, you will love it. So just try it. Get this classic lash glue. This glue is actually one of my favorite. Is it even one of my favorite? I think this is the only glue I use when it comes to makeup because it fades out and it's actually very like it holds the lash very well. It holds it very well. For my brows rather, what did I just say? For my brows, I'm using my brow gel from Correct Cosmetics, and I'm using my small angle brush to do this, to draw the line underneath the brows. So this is actually how I draw my brows most times, and using this shade on her because she's not lighter, so I'm going in with this brown shade. And I'm going to create the strokes gently. I'm not increasing the size of the brows because that is how her brows is. So I'm just going to trace it underneath and on top of it where the hair starts and where it ends to get her actual size of brows.
But I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away. As you fade away. fade away. As you fade away. As you.
For the front of the brows, I'm going to use my brow pencil and then create a light strokes in front on both sides. So make sure your pencil have a pointed mount before you stroke it, so that you have a tiny strokes. Though my strokes is not really that tiny, but it's visible that is stroke. To conceal my brows, I'm going directly underneath the line I created, and then I'm going in with a steady hand, and then I'll just drag it, then cover the skin very well so that the skin will not be peeping through the concealer. If you don't cover the skin very well, by the time you start blending it, you will see the skin peeping through, and then the brows will not be looking sharp, or underneath the brows will not be looking sharp. But if you cover it very well, then the brows will be looking sharp and it will stand out. So the amount of concealer you use in concealing underneath the brows or covering the skin under the brows will determine how your brows will appear. After that, the next thing is to use my blending brush, and then I will just push the concealer into the skin. I'm dabbing it, I'm not dragging it. Push it into the skin, blend the edges very well so that you don't have a cut. You just want everything to enter into the skin and not looking zigzag. That's the essence of this blending. So you can see the way I'm doing it, or blending it with light hand but still with a steady move. If you don't have blending brush to do this and you have a beauty blender, you can also use it to blend underneath your brows. All you need to do is, when you conceal the brows, push the concealer down a bit so that when you want to blend it with your beauty blender, you don't get into the brows. So trace gently with a steady hand. That way you have a sharp line under your brows. Do it with a gentle hand. That's all you need. And then cover the skin underneath the brows very well. It's a very simple thing to do. So you can see the way I'm covering it with my concealer. Then I'll go back in and blend it with my blending brush. Remember, brows is one of the major things that people look at when they're seeing your makeup. That's the first thing people look at. So take your time when you're drawing your brows and when you're concealing it. The brows defines the makeup. Yeah, even if your skin work is fine, your eyeshadow work is fine, if your brows is not fine, it is going to affect your makeup. So make sure you take your time to do your brows. Some persons' work is not really that fine, but because they define their brows very well, people tend to like it. So brows is the number one thing people look at or judge first when they look at your makeup. For the top of the brows, most times I don't conceal it, but at this point I'm just going to cut off some parts that doesn't look nice. I'm not doing too much. I always like to draw my brows in a way that I want it to come out, so that I don't have issues trying to conceal the top of it. And I'm using the same shade of foundation I used on her to just go over the top gently to remove any part that I don't like. So I'm not doing full concealing on top of the brows. So if you draw your brows exactly the shape you want, you will not have problem struggling to conceal the top of your brows. Most times I don't conceal the top of my brows. I just do only the top. And so I'm using my concealer as my eyeshadow base, a little amount of it, just to cover the skin as well. I'm not using my eyeshadow base, I'm using this concealer for it. So I'm just going to blend it all into the skin before I proceed to my eyeshadow work. Sorry guys, the eyeshadow work is not going to be part of this. So I'm done with the eyeshadow. I'm just going to work on the lip a little and then brush off the excess powder on the face and then do my final touch, and the makeup is ready.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you.
So I'm going to just smooch some colors underneath the eye so that it doesn't look plain. After lining the inner eye, I'm smooching color under it. Yeah, so I'm doing both eyes. And then the next thing is just to take off this excess powder under the eye that I use in baking. Just brush off everything, touch any part that is remaining, and then, like I said, the makeup is ready to go. So I'm using my powder to do this. You can as well use your setting powder if you want, but I'm using my powder to just do this, to take it off, because there are fallout eyeshadow on the face. So if you brush it out with just your brush, it might stain, so you need a powder to do this. And then I'm adding my blush. Did I say blush? No. My bronzer. Yeah, so I'm adding my bronzer. And the next thing is to set after bronzing the face. It's just to set. So that's it, guys. Nothing much. I'm actually bronzing every part that I want bronzer to appear. So, and then for the bridge of the nose, I put it at the tip of the nose and then in between the eyes, this spot and this spot. Then I will blend it into each other, because that's where light appear or reflect when you're taking pictures. So I don't just put bronzer on every part of the nose. That's the only spot where I put my bronzers. So I'm adding it close to the lip, and then here blending it out as well. So I'm sure you guys are hearing some sounds. That is not my voice. Please just ignore it though. My friend is here editing a YouTube video as well. So she's using her system and is making noise as well. Sorry, we didn't really notice it was appearing. But that's part of the hustle, guys. So just ignore it and then focus on the video. That's all.
We'll choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
So guys, here is the finished look. Please let me know what you think of the look in the comment section. Thank you for watching. If you've not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, like, and you can as well share. Thank you.